What the hell is going on with Brandon Aiyuk? That's what we're hopping into on today's show. But first, if you want Brandon Aiyuk to be more involved in Kyle Shanahan's offense, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. This is a hot topic of conversation among the faithful. Help us out. What's going on, Niner gang? Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. Brandon Aiyuk is in a sophomore slump right now. You will not be in a slump if you hop on board the Magic Spoon train. Why is that? Per bowl, per serving, under 200 calories, 13 to 14 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, only 4 grams of net carbs. You can get $5 off your checkout by going to magicspoon.com/49ers Report. Here's what we're getting into on today's show. What is going on with Brandon Aiyuk, and is there a problem between the second-year wide receiver, Coach Kyle Shanahan, and General Manager John Lynch? Because John Lynch went on KNBR the other day and had some really interesting things to say about this dilemma that's going on with Brandon Aiyuk right now. And a reason why so many people are confounded and confused as to why Aiyuk is having that sophomore slump is because when you take a look at his numbers are drastically down from last year. And last year, as a rookie out of Arizona State, one, I thought he was a steal at where the Niners got him in the draft. Two, he showed so much ability during that rookie campaign. But this year in 5 games, he has not played as much. He has only been targeted 15 times, only has 8 receptions, 90 yards to go along with 1 touchdown. I had him pegged as a breakout candidate. And right now, Brandon Aiyuk has personified the 49ers season. His start to the year, it's been weird, it's been maddening, it's been confusing, and nobody has been able to come up with an answer as to why Aiyuk isn't getting targeted and why his numbers are down so drastically. Last year, he was terrific. He led the team in receptions as well as targets. He only played 12 games as a rookie, yet was targeted 96 times. And keep in mind that there was a revolving door at the quarterback position because of the injuries that occurred to Jimmy Garoppolo with this high right ankle sprains. But 96 targets, 60 receptions, 748 yards, and 5 touchdowns in only 12 games is fabulous production for a rookie when there were no preseason games, limited training camp, and basically no OTAs for these rookies in that draft class last year. I had been quoted many times throughout the offseason here on the show since I took over the 49ers Report after the NFL draft as saying I thought Aiyuk would have a breakout season because I went back, I watched what he was able to do last year, even though I wasn't here at Chat Sports. I watched from afar what he did during that rookie campaign. He had good size, good speed, really good ability to pick up yards after the catch. I like his physicality at that position, and I was thinking that Deebo Samuel, Brandon Aiyuk would be a tremendous 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position for Kyle Shanahan's offense. Instead, through the first 5 games, what we've seen is Deebo Samuel have a breakout campaign, and Brandon Aiyuk isn't getting any burn at all. So are you confused by the Aiyuk situation right now, Niner gang? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm very confused by it, so I'm going to submit my Y for yes. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, just scroll on down and get your votes in. Here's what John Lynch had to say on KNBR about Aiyuk, and I thought the radio host did a good job of pressing him on this issue. He said this: "It gives you hope because the ability is in there. But first," he also said, "it's important for a team to see people earn those opportunities. There's been really good communication here of late in an effort to try and get that out of him, and he wants it. It's not as if the guy doesn't work hard. It's about guys getting on the same page. He has the makings of not just a starter, but a very good one. It gives you hope because the ability is certainly in there, no doubt about it, but it's time to take that next step, and that's incumbent on everyone, so we need to get that accomplished. It's important you earn your opportunities. You do that during the week, and it's not as if Brandon isn't working hard. For whatever reason, he hasn't made the strides we expect him to." That last line, very telling. He hasn't made the strides we expect him to. We'll continue to dive into this further coming up in just a bit, but I want to hit you with another question. Who's to blame for why Aiyuk has his production down and he's not seeing as many opportunities? Is it Aiyuk himself? Is it John Lynch? Is it Kyle Shanahan? Type BA for Aiyuk, JL for John Lynch, KS for Kyle Shanahan. Get those votes in the comment section right now. I think it could be a combination of all three, so be sure to let me know. Today's show is powered by our friends at Magic Spoon. I'm holding a box of peanut butter Magic Spoon right now. And a big reason why I'm all about this cereal is it's loaded with protein, minimal calories, it doesn't have a lot of sugar, in fact, none per serving, and limited carbs. But you take the Magic Spoon peanut butter brand and you compare it to Reese's Puffs. Magic Spoon, 14 grams of protein per serving, 4 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar. It's also grain-free and gluten-free. Reese's Puffs, 2 grams of protein, 26 grams of net carbs, and 11 grams of sugar. It is not grain-free and it is not gluten-free. I'm telling you, the cereal will change your world, and you can get $5 off your checkout right now by going to magicspoon.com/49ers report. They're a big supporter of what we do, so much so we put together a special link for the Niner faithful. Try the cereal out, money back guarantee. So if you put in an order for a box or 4 using that link that we've been showing you, and you don't like it, guaranteed to get your money back. I want to circle back to John Lynch's comments about Aiyuk because I thought he used some choice words. And I'm kind of confused by it too because he goes along and says, Brandon Aiyuk has been working hard, but he also needs to show us a lot more. And I'm thinking back several weeks ago to that report from Matt Mayoka when he had went on to report for NBC Sports Bay Area that Brandon Aiyuk was still learning to be a pro. And look, I used to work for a local news station in Pennsylvania, and I'm all about kind of just looking deep into things and trying to come up with opinions, coming up with thoughts, coming up with takes, to come up with a smart argument or a smart discussion as to why certain things happen. That's just kind of how my brain is wired. And there's got to be something that we don't know about Aiyuk. Is he not showing and displaying enough effort? Is he not having good practices? Is he a jerk behind the scenes? Is he not a good teammate? Is he clashing behind closed doors with Coach Kyle Shanahan? Why isn't he getting targeted enough with this in this offense? Because we see the ability is totally there. Last year against the Eagles, he hurdled a defender. He led the team in targets as well as receptions as a rookie. Those were telling numbers last year. And then through 5 games, he just hasn't done jack shit. I really don't understand it. Now, I looked at some next-gen stats because I'm here to provide for the people. And Brandon Aiyuk's yards of separation last year as compared to this year are down about a yard. So I want to circle back to that discussion point of maybe Aiyuk this offseason had taken his foot off the gas going into year 2. Obviously, he's having a sophomore slump, but moving off that successful rookie year, was he like, hey, I'm going to coast, I'm all good, I'm not going to put as much work into my body? The coaches realized that. John Lynch realized that as well, and they're like, you know what? We got to dock him. This is the time to learn his lesson, because if he doesn't learn his lesson now, he's never going to learn it, and then he's going to end up being a bust. But it's pretty telling that his yards of separation from last year to this year are down a little more than a yard. And then I also went back to look at his snaps through his first 5 games last year. He was inactive the first game, and then he went on to play those 5 games in a row, and his snaps combined in those games were at 288, whereas this year, through the first 5 games, they are down to 221. The playing time is down, but the ability is there. And I want to see Kyle Shanahan get more creative with a former first-round pick who has a lot of potential. It's not like this guy has never shown any ability at all. He has. At moments this year, limited opportunities, of course, but he's made some nice plays and some really good catches, like when last week he made a catch with a defender draped on his back. But can Kyle Shanahan do some things to get him more involved within this offense? I'm talking about bubble screens. I'm talking about jet sweeps. Just put the ball in his hands, and maybe if he's suffering from a lack of confidence, that confidence will then skyrocket, it will increase, and he'll be able to display some playmaking ability and that yards after the catch ability that he was able to show last year and that we so often see from a guy like Deebo Samuel. Look, let me circle back to me saying that the ability is there, right? And we see countless examples of this from last year and in a limited sample size this year. The guy took a catch against the Eagles on Sunday Night Football last year and hurdled Marcus Epps. He hurdled a grown man and was Marcus Epps' daddy. Like, this guy is a guy who can play. He was drafted in the first round for a reason, has the pedigree, has the potential, but there is something that we don't know that's going on behind the scenes between Aiyuk, Shanahan, and John Lynch. That's the only way that this makes sense. And before we get out of here, we do have to explore this talking point. Is it to a point where this relationship has become so contentious that Brandon Aiyuk could potentially get traded leading up to the November 2nd NFL trade deadline? There are some needs on this roster for San Francisco. That's a big reason why they're sitting at 2-3. They have premier talent offensively and defensively, and there are some very, very talented players on this roster right now. And they're also struggling because of some injuries, but when you look at some of the needs that San Francisco has right now, secondary, running back, offensive line, linebacker. And from a team building perspective, it's my belief you always want to load up on talent because it never hurts to have enough depth. And if there are other teams canvassing the landscape right now for trade targets, are they looking at the situation in San Francisco right now with Brandon Aiyuk barely getting any targets, less playing time than last year, and they're like, hey, we'll take a flyer on Brandon Aiyuk. We're very confident that we can turn him into a star. Let's get our hands on him and send something back to San Francisco of value. I can guarantee you, among the other 31 teams across the National Football League, they are keeping an eye on this Brandon Aiyuk situation. And if it reaches a boiling point where Aiyuk either demands a trade or the Niners are like, you know what, a year and a half in, we're done, there is going to be another team out there at a position of importance nowadays with offenses changing, rules changing to benefit the offense. They will take a chance and give up a lot for a player who's capable like Brandon Aiyuk. So it's your opportunity to chime in, hop on board, join the show, and sound off in the comment section right now. What would you do if you are John Lynch? Would you trade Brandon Aiyuk? Type T for trade, type K for keep, subscribe to the channel because nobody's doing what we're doing, and we appreciate you for watching today's show.